Hello, this is Theron Fight.
And this is Mark Cardone. This is the Achieve Results Now podcast, the podcast that gives you immediate actions you can take to start seeing life-shifting results now.
Very excited for this podcast. We're going to talk about three key areas: peak state, goal setting, and gratitude. So let's get right into it. Let's talk about peak state. So when we're talking about peak state, there's many ways to get into peak state, but one of the easiest ways is what your body is doing. I want you to think about if you're sitting in a chair and you're looking down and your shoulders are slunched. Not many of us feel excited and ready to take on the world. So how you have your body throughout the day is really going to determine how your energy level is and how your mind is. So, when you think about that, Mark, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I think, body posture and how we sit and whether we're sitting or standing or moving, movement definitely plays a key role in peak state. And adding on to that is something that I think people are even less aware of, because people always talk about movement and, standing up at your desk and things like that to get yourself going. But I think breathing is something that people don't talk enough about because I think people tend to be shallow breathers. I think people don't tend to sit and take deep breaths in, deep breaths out. So I think, along with focusing on your body posture and focusing on your body, focusing on taking good, solid, deep breaths, even if it's just for 10 seconds, I think that really helps me get into state.
Absolutely. Great. And your mind. You have to be aware of the thoughts that are running through your mind. We're constantly asking ourselves questions. And the problem is for some of us, our questions are negative. Why can't I do this? Why can't I do that? Why is this always happening to me? And those questions are only going to lead to negative answers. So being aware of the questions that are running through your head and then taking action to adjust them can have a huge effect on your state of mind.
Okay? Yeah, and I think instead of, a lot of people get into the habit of asking themselves, geez, why can't I lose weight? Why can't I make more money? I think asking yourself how, just changing that why to a how will immediately have an impact. And that's something that I try and do because, like everybody, I catch myself asking negative questions.
Sure.
And if I can just catch myself and say, well, geez, how can I do this? I find that I get to an answer that much quicker. And if nothing else, I'm more positive about it. So.
Absolutely. And think of this with peak state. If you're going into a sales call or you're going into to do a presentation or a meeting, if you are in peak state, your results are going to be that much better. You're going to attract success to you.
That's right. And I think, peak state can really be used anywhere. Anytime, you have to be on and you have to perform. Anything from starting the day at work to your workout to getting in peak state before an awesome play session with your kids or date night or whatever. Getting your mind focused and out of the muck of what you've been in all day and deciding, making a decision you're going to be focused and energetic in that thing that you're doing. So being focused on it is huge.
Absolutely. I want to talk next about goal setting. And in future podcasts, we're certainly going to get into the meat of goal setting. Right now, I think it's appropriate just to talk about developing that goal setting muscle. And for some of you listening, maybe you've never set any goals. I look at many times throughout our life, our goals are set for us. If you look as you get into school, well, you're expected to continue on school and graduate high school. You go on to college, you're expected to graduate from college. So many times our goals are set for us, and it's automatic. So we're really not learning how to set our own goals, where our passions lie. What are your thoughts on that?
That's right. And, I've had that thought, and I've had that conversation with other people before that, when we're in school, we're goal-setting machines because people are setting goals for us and pushing them. And not only that, but our peer group, it has a common goal. So we're all moving in the same direction, which, some people say is a positive, some people say is a negative. But I think as we get older, we don't have people who are setting goals for us other than our employers. So they're not goals we're passionate about. And we also don't really have necessarily a peer group who's completely supportive of us reaching our goals. So I think bringing those things to light is important.
I think many times it's just thinking about what you're looking to accomplish and starting small. What do I want to accomplish today? how do I want to end my day? I mean, that's a great way to start the process of goal setting. And many times it could be as simple as, by the end of the day, I want to feel great about the day, and that's a great goal.
Absolutely, and goals are the 800-pound gorilla, because there's so much content out there on goal setting and goals. So I know we have people who listen to this podcast who have several goals, who have high goals, and who have a lot of goal setting background, and then we have people who don't have any goals.
Right.
So what I would say is, if you're somebody who has a lot of goals, stay tuned, because we're going to give you ways to refine those goals and make them awesome. And if you don't have any goals, today maybe your goal is to set your first goal, and like Theron said, maybe it's have something, have a great end of the day. Be able to look at your notebook at the end of the day and write down 5 or 6 awesome things that happened today, and maybe one thing that wasn't great that you want to fix for tomorrow, and that's your next goal.
Absolutely. And speaking of end of the day, our number 3 topic is gratitude. Gratitude is really, it's an attitude. That's what it is. And it's focusing your mind on things that you're grateful for in your life. It's very easy to be critical about yourself and about your life and look at others and say, I wish I had that, I wish I had this. And there's almost that sense of jealousy. And that is a very negative emotion, and it's not going to lead to results or happiness. So with gratitude, there's a few tips. One would be is to have a journal at the end of the night and write all the things that you're grateful for in that journal. And you do that every night. I guarantee you do it for a week, your attitude is going to be changed.
Absolutely. And something that's a really good challenge for gratitude that I think I learned this from Zig Ziglar a long time ago, was to take things that you normally wouldn't be grateful for and find a reason to be grateful for them. So maybe you hate your job and you're not grateful for it. Find a reason, even if it's only the fact that it gives you enough money to put a roof over your head. You're grateful for that. So, that's a really good way to exercise, because the easy stuff, which is I'm grateful for my family, I see people get into that rolling trap, thinking about daily, things that they're obviously grateful for, and then I think people start to lose interest because it's stuff they're not as excited about. So I think, as much as it's important to look at those things we're definitely grateful for that are obvious, it's also important for us to learn and grow that muscle of gratitude to find the positives in the things that we're not normally gracious for.
Absolutely. Well, let's wrap up with some action steps, because that is what we're all about. Achieving results now. So number 1 we talked about is peak state,
and I think something we can do, for peak state, when you're done listening to this podcast, after you turn off your not turn off your phone, but turn off the podcast, stand up. Unless you're driving. If you're driving, don't stand up. Stay seated. But if you're stand up, get yourself some good body posture. Take 5 to 10 deep breaths, and just get your mind focused on the next thing you're going to do, whether you're going to a meeting, whether you're going home. I think that's a great way to get yourself in peak state.
Absolutely. Number 2 was exercising your goal-setting muscle. Very simply, I want you to think of and set an ongoing goal, something that you're going to make a small change in your life to make an improvement. Maybe I'm going to start exercising 3 days a week, or an ongoing goal could be I'm going to read every day for 30 minutes. And then the second thing I want you to do is set a new goal. Doesn't have to be large. In fact, I'd rather have it be something that you want to achieve in the next week. So you have an ongoing goal and then something new short term.
Absolutely. And then number 3 was gratitude. So for gratitude, I think the easy message with gratitude and the easy takeaway from that is to write down 3 things that you're grateful for, easy things. And then I want you to write down 3 things that you're not grateful for, and think about why you're grateful for them, and write that down too. And then if you can write that down every day, every other day, it'll just be a constant reminder for you.
Excellent. Well, thank you for listening, everybody. And we would like to invite you to facebook.com/Achieve Results Now. Like our page.
And also be sure to check our website at achieveresultsnow.com. You can check out the show notes for this podcast. And also, if you found it helpful and you thought it was awesome, please share it with your friends. We appreciate you listening. Thank you.